Welcome back everyone to the third and final video for the Polkadot secure validator setup. We're almost there. We have our validator set up and running, and now we need to associate some accounts with the validator, and finally I will guide you through how to sign up for the 1000 validator program and give you a brief explanation on it. So this tutorial is going to be a little specific to my use case, in which I'm using a ledger. So you may need to adapt it a little for your particular case. I already have it set up, so you'll have to bear with me and visualize a bit as to your particular scenario. So we go to the Polkadot.js app, right? I think I'll put a link to it below. We go to accounts and then we hit accounts again, right? We don't move to a new page because I was already on the page. We need to set up 3 accounts. Now 2 of these accounts, as you can see here, are ledger accounts, which are my stash and my controller, and there's a third account which is actually an on-chain account. So I needed to do that particularly because I needed to verify my on-chain identity, and if I click here, I don't get that option with the ledger accounts, but I do get it with the on-chain account. So with that, I will demonstrate how to set up the ledger accounts. Firstly you plug in your ledger, you make sure the Kusama app is running, it's unlocked, and all the basics. Add via ledger. You give it a name, stash. You give it an account type 0, and the first one is going to be at index 0, and you hit save. So that's how I set up my stash. You rinse, wash, repeat. You do it again, and you select this time index 1, and you can name this controller. Okay, so repeating those steps, you will actually get 1, 2. You'll see stash and controller. You won't see the paradox in front of it, but you'll see stash and controller. The third thing you need to do is to set up the on-chain account, or the regular account, and you do so by clicking this add account, save your mnemonic, click, and you hit next. I think it's pretty straightforward, and you will eventually have 3 accounts. You'll have 2 ledgers and 1 on-chain. Now you can go across to network staking. Give it a little while to load. I'm still here. So it does take a bit to load, but be patient and it'll eventually come up. Oops, that was not a good sign. Okay, great. So when you go to network staking, I want you to go to account actions, and it's already loaded. For my particular case, I had to add a stash, but you may need to add a validator. When you do so, you hit add stash. You select your stash account and you select a controller account. Now your stash account should have the majority of your bond, and you need to give it a little extra for transactions. So you need to work those numbers and put what extra you need. So in my case, I bonded the majority of it, and that's associated with my stash, and I have a little in my controller. Once that's done, you will see, and it's not here for me, an area in which you can click to add the session key. Now you add the session key after your validator node is fully synced. Quite important. Fully synced, run the RPC command that I provided in the previous video, and you copy paste that key, and there will be a button to do so somewhere around here where I'm moving my mouse. At that point, once you set that key, you get the option to start or to go into validator mode. Another button will come up and you can click on that. If you wish to edit your bond for whatever reason or make any adjustments, you do so all the way to the right. Once you have done that, you have bonded and you've gone into validator mode, you have associated your actual validator with the account. You need to verify your on-chain identity. It's more so for when you want to do the 1000 validator program. So we go back to accounts and then accounts. We go to our non-ledger account. We hit the 3 dots and we do set on-chain identity. Okay, so we choose a display name. You don't fill out the legal name. As far as I know right now, that may cause undesirable actions. So we don't fill out the legal name. We fill out the email. You can fill out a Riot if you wish. And this actually bonds some of your Kusama. That value is, and we are seeing it here for this particular one, it's 1.66 recurring Kusama. So you have to pay a fee to actually do the identity, to set your on-chain identity. You have to do a bond. It's not money, it's not Kusama lost, but it's bonded, so you won't be able to transfer it or move it around or anything like that. Once you have done that, you hit set identity. Okay, so that's one step, and that will cost you 1.66 recurring Kusama. And if you're doing this on Polkadot, per my last attempt, it costed me about 20.258 dot. I'll put those particulars in the comments so you can review it. All right. So we're not quite done yet. We have a few more steps. Now we need to initiate a confirmation of the identity. And this is quite similar to websites that you'll go to, you register, you put in your email, then you get an email from that particular site asking you to click here to verify that you own the email address. So a similar thing happens. That information that you put in needs to be verified. And to do so, you need to initiate a judgment or request a judgment. So to do so, you go to developer extrinsics. You're going here and you're looking for identity. And you're going to select request judgment. There we go. In the reg index, you leave it at 0, and in the max fee for Kusama, you put 0.04, and for Polkadot 0.0122. Right? If you put a higher fee, I think it does. I don't know exactly what it does, but I think you're safe with the numbers that I just provided, and of course those will be in the comments. When you hit submit transaction, at this point you will, in my case I had Riot and I had provided my email. I will get emails from W3F and contacted from Riot from W3F. There's an extreme, something that I need to make extremely clear. If you are contacted by anyone else, anyone other than W3F, please approach that with caution, and you should contact the mods to just let them know what happened. This it's like public information, and other parties could make use of it to capture or, verify your information. So make sure that you're contacted by W3F, and that's the only one. If you're contacted by anyone else, let the mods know, let someone know, and they will check it out for you. Now, what do you get when you're contacted? You will actually get a message with a special code that you'll have to copy and paste into the sign and verify. So you paste it here in sign the following data, and you hit sign message, and it gives you an output. That output that you get, let me see if I can, oops, okay. That output is specific. I need to unlock my account, so I won't go through it, but it's pretty straightforward. The code that you get from your email, you paste it into this sign the following data, right? You unlock your account, and then you hit sign message. When you do that, you get another value, and all you do is reply to the email, and you paste that specific value, and the W3F authenticator would then process it and then email you and say, yes, okay, that's the right answer, you're verified. And you need to do so for each of the types of each of the bit of information you supplied in the identity. So if you provided email and Riot, you'll be contacted on those two platforms to verify. Once you're verified, you'll get a green tick at the left of your name. Okay? So once you do that, you have actually verified your identity. Now, these two are my ledger accounts, and I want them associated with my verified identity. So what I do is I do 3 dots, set on-chain sub-identities. And now I can associate my ledger accounts with that verified account. There is a cost to this. For each account that you set as a sub-identity in Kusama, you will be required to bond 0.333 recurring for each one. And under Polkadot, it's 20.053 dot for each account that you have under that as a sub-identity. So again, another thing to note. So I will as well put that information in the comments. Okay, so once you have done that, you're basically set, and if you had enough Kusama, you would be able, self-stake or nominated stake, you would be able to participate or be a candidate for an active validator. But that amount, as per the video for Kusama right now, is approximately 4,000 Kusama. And that's quite a lot, and I don't have it. You guys need to tip me, man. I don't have it. So I need to go through a program. It's an onboarding program, if you want to put it that way, that facilitates the persons like myself that may be interested in signing up to be a validator, but I don't quite have that minimum stake. So it's called the 1000 Validator program, and I'll put a link to the sign up. It has some requirements, and I think it's pretty straightforward. You need 50 Kusama, so there's still an amount you need. You need to be connected to the dedicated telemetry. So this is the switch, and per my second video, you can actually just go into the service and you edit this. You change the old value and you put this new one. You can't charge more than 10% commission, which is fairly fine because you want to attract people. You must have a separate stash and controller account, which we set up previously. 1 week. So basically, when you sign up and you connect to telemetry, the system will make sure that you have been operating properly for the past 7 days. So you need to meet that requirement. Validator stash address must get verified on chain identity. Well, we just did that. And there's an update requirement. So I think we're all good. If you're following this video start to finish, or this series start to finish, you'll be fine. So you fill it out, name on telemetry, well, that's a copy paste. Stash account, in my case it was a Ledger stash account, so just note that. You put it inside here. Put in the phone number, email, your matrix handle, and it's pretty much, well, you have no choice, right? So I always find these things quite odd, you know. You have no choice but to check it to go forward, and you hit submit. Once you do so, if you're accepted on Riot, you will get to go into a special channel, and you will actually see yourself on the 1000 validator leaderboard. You may have, as you recently signed up, may have a big line through your name. That's because you need to wait 7 days before you actually become a candidate for an active spot. So what that means is that it's not like every era you will be elected. You go to a pool, and you know, based on whatever criteria, that's a totally separate video. Based on a special criteria, you're selected, and you can become an active validator under Kusama. And when you do so, you know, you have to stay online, and you can also earn the rewards based on your commission, and you know, distribute the same for those who nominated you. So that's about it, and hopefully if you followed everything, you may be able to get this completed in 1 hour. And you know, I think that's pretty good, because it took me quite some time with all the missteps and figuring things out, but now I can do it fairly fast. So if you've learned anything from this, you know, please feel free to share and guide others. You know, it's a community thing. And in closing, I'll be doing another video on tips, so you can help a brother out. All right, shameless plug, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. I did enjoy doing this series. You know, this is my closing remarks for at least this playlist, this set. I do feel a lot more confident in the setup now that I've done it so many times. You're seeing there's 3 videos at less than an hour, but there was a lot of time spent. I actually had to retake many retakes, but I actually redid the first 2 videos because there was some complaints that it was too, the font was too small on the terminal, so I made it larger. And for whatever reason, YouTube keeps defaulting me to a very low quality, so I know it might be too late, but you can actually hit that gear wheel and go right up to 1080p 60 FPS. So yeah, what do I want to do next? Well, I want to demystify, my goal is, right, to demystify a lot of these functions in the Polkadot ecosystem. There's a lot of useful stuff. So I was partially joking about the tips. I am going to set it up and explain it. I would like to go into some of the governance and the voting, and give an explanation on the treasury and how that works, and you know, what's its function, and perhaps later on give you an idea of what you can do to contribute to the ecosystem yourself. So yeah, so you may have closed this off already, but if you haven't, thanks for viewing all the way to the end and listening to my rambles. And I hope you have your validator set up and you get through to the program. Take care. Bye-bye.